हेलो स्टूडेंट, वेलकम टू सागर शर्मा क्लासेस। आज हम आपके लेके आए हैं फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट का एक इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक, मीनिंग एंड सोर्सेज ऑफ लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल। सो एक मिनट पेन ले लीजिए। यस। तो जैसे कि बिजनेस में दो तरीके की कैपिटल होती है, एक को हम बोलते हैं फिक्स कैपिटल, जो कि लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल की तरह ट्रीट करते हैं, और दूसरा जो होता है वो है आपका वर्किंग कैपिटल। तो ये दो तरीके की कैपिटल एक बिजनेस फर्म में रिक्वायर्ड होती है। जो फिक्स कैपिटल, जिसको हम लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल बोलते हैं, ये यूजुअली इन्वेस्ट की जाती है इन द फिक्स एसेट्स, प्लांट एंड मशीनरी। और वर्किंग कैपिटल जो आपको डे टू डे ऑपरेशंस के लिए रिक्वायरमेंट होती है, रॉ मटेरियल परचेज करना, सैलरी वेजेस पे करना, ये सब वर्किंग कैपिटल का पार्ट होता है। लेकिन यहाँ पे हम इस वीडियो में केवल लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल के क्या क्या सोर्सेज होते हैं, किन किन सोर्सेज से एक फर्म लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल को बोरो कर सकती है, उनके बारे में जानेंगे। तो सबसे पहले कैपिटल क्या होता है? कैपिटल रेफर्स टू एनी फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्सेज और एसेट्स ओन्ड बाय अ बिजनेस that are useful in furthering development and generating income। तो बेसिकली कैपिटल वो पार्ट होता है जो बिजनेस में इन्वेस्ट किया जाता है फॉर जनरेटिंग द इनकम। और शॉर्ट टर्म, मीडियम टर्म, लॉन्ग टर्म रिक्वायरमेंट्स हो सकती हैं कैपिटल नीड्स। शॉर्ट टर्म, इट इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ वर्किंग कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट, एंड मीडियम टर्म, some part of it is working capital, and some part of medium term is used in fixed capital, and long term, this is fixed capital or long term capital more than 5 years. So what are the sources of long-term capital? Generally, we know there are two main sources, equity as well as preference shares. Equity, and second one is preference share. So equity capital are the real owners of the company, and preference shareholders uh, get the two preferences over the equity shareholder. Firstly, they will get the dividend before equity shares, and at the ending of winding up of company, they will get the amount in preference to equity shareholders. So in equity share capital, there is various modes of sources of long-term capital. IPO. IPO is a process of offering shares of a company to general public and offer for sale. In this, selling of share to an issuing house, which bears risk of selling shares to other investors. And third one is private placement, a process of selling shares to investment institutions, financial institutions, and large private clients. A right issue, process of offering shares to existing shareholders. In this, no new shareholders get the shares, only the existing shareholders, employees, or any person authorized by a special resolution. Bonus shares, also called add up flowing back of profits, because these are issued from the retained earnings and capitalization of profits. These are issued out of free reserve, security premium account, and capital redemption reserve. Second, we have already talked about preference share capital. This is also a long-term source of capital in which they get the two preferences before equity shareholders. Now, the next sources of long-term finance is loan from banks and financial institutions. It is also called term loan because it is more than 5 years. It is for the long period. Debentures and bonds also redeemable. There are different types of debenture. Redeemable debentures which can be paid out after a certain time. Secured debentures which are secured by or mortgaged by fixed assets. Convertible debentures, these can be converted into equity shares. Callable and puttable debentures, zero coupon bonds also. And there is a new mode of long-term loan, built operate transfer, a type of project financing wherein a private entity receives a franchise to finance, construct, operate, maintain, and transfer after a specific period as long as 20 to 30 years. Example, Toll Plaza. This is a best example of built operate transfer. Built lease transfer, also called a lease financing. It is also a long-term source of finance. In this, control of project is transferred from the owner to lessee for a specific period. In this two type of lease financing, operating finance lease and finance lease. Operating lease and finance lease we will discuss. And third one is bridge finance. Basically, bridge finance, a loan taken by a company, normally from commercial bank for short period because of pending disbursement of loan sanctioned by financial institute. इसमें क्या होता है, जैसे ये एक कंपनी है, ये एक फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन है, बीच में बैंक है, ये बैंक है आपका। तो यहाँ पे ये कंपनी जो इस फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन से लोन ले रही है, मान लो इसमें टाइम लग रहा है आपका लोन सैंक्शन होने में 30 डेज। तो जो 30 डेज का पीरियड के लिए एक्सपेंसेस बियर करने हैं उसके लिए शॉर्ट टर्म लोन बैंक से कंपनी ले लेती है। ये आपका ब्रिज फाइनेंस का काम करता है एक तरीके से। जब ये फाइनेंस इंस्टीट्यूशन इसको लोन दे देगा तो ये बैंक को रिपे कर देगा। वेंचर कैपिटल फाइनेंसिंग, इट रेफर्स टू फाइनेंसिंग अ न्यू हाई रिस्की पोटेंशियल venture promoted by qualified entrepreneurs who lack experience and funds to give shape to their ideas. So in it, equity financing, long-term source of finance up to 49% of total equity capital. There is a conditional loan in venture capital financing, repayable in the form of royalty on sales after the venture is able to generate sales. Participating debentures on these, no interest is charged in startup stage, low rate of interest in growth stage, and high rate of interest in maturity stage. These all comes under the venture capital financing. Income note, hybrid security, which combines feature of conventional and conditional loan. Entrepreneur pays both interest and royalty on sale, but at substantially low rates. Now, the next sources of long-term capital is debt securitization, a process by which a company makes pool of its financial assets from a consolidated financial instrument which is issued to investor. Basically, this is the a step very important. First one is origination, second is pooling, and third one is securitization, creation of mortgage-backed securities. And the other long-term sources of capital, GDR, Global Depository Receipt. It is issued by depository, usually a large international bank in global market against share issued by an Indian firm. And like this, there is ADR also. It is issued by US depository in US against share issued by an Indian firm. External commercial borrowings, a foreign currency loan availed by Indian corporates and PSUs from non-resident lenders like foreign commercial banks and other institutions. And there are also FCCBs, foreign currency convertible bonds or masala bonds, low interest rate bonds issued in foreign currency abroad. So thank you. These are all the long-term sources of capital. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section of video.